So yeah, things still pretty packed, but these two players are definitely doing very, very well in the early going. We watched them both yesterday at length, so we're gonna hope to have a great game between these two very experienced and solid players. Couple questions about the Babel Royale lexicon. It uses a lexicon that I would say is a little closer to Collins than anything else. It's technically called WordNick, which is an open source dictionary, just because I think the creators of the game we're looking to get a dictionary without incurring licensing fees for the lexicon.
Well, I don't know if that's true because I can say a certain other team has chatted with the WordNick team and they want to require money. So I'm not sure that WordNick is as if that's true, I don't know if they are as genuine as they seem. But not to call them out too strongly, but if you're out there, consider supporting other not-for-profits.
Good point. Didn't realize that. But yeah, I think in terms of what dictionary does Babel Royale's lexicon most resemble, I would definitely say it's Collins. And I do think there's something instructive there, which is that game has already gotten pretty widespread popularity, and people aren't really that concerned about the ability to play IO or OO or EE. They see that word once or twice and they say, oh, okay, that's part of the dictionary of this game, and I'm going to roll with it now. So Rasheed exchanges to open this game. I think that's pretty reasonable with his imbalanced vowels, and it looks like he's just drawn a bunch more vowels. So not the best start for Rasheed, but still very early.
So I'll type out the word sucks with spaces since I get auto-modded every time I say the word sucks.
We should make you a mod. Hold on. Do you want to be a mod of this channel? I think we could make that happen. Hold on.
Sure, I'm happy. This is Collins Scrabble, and every game this weekend will be Collins Scrabble on this channel. But if you do ! standings, you can see how the other divisions are doing that use the American dictionary.
Okay, Conrad, you are now a mod, so if you want to ban anyone, you can.
Oh, but I still can't say sucks.
Oh, that transcends moderator status, I guess. Anyway, it's everybody is there's people who are just asking for you to time them out in the chat, but I know you will use with great power comes great responsibility.
I only time out Cesar as he is wanted for me.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what he does to warrant that. So, All right. So Dave plays Choir. That looks like a really strong play. 48 points for him to start the game off, and he's drawn some good stuff to go with it. I don't think Dave had the S when he played Choir. I think he left ZO, and so Kui, a nice way to dump vowels here. That seems reasonable enough. There's really no great way for Rasheed to score well at all here, so I guess I don't mind playing this. And is there any? I don't think there's any extension to Choir that Rasheed can hope for. Like he has Inquire and Inquire, but they're not that useful. Is there? Oh man, Verquire is now possible if he burns his blank, which I don't think he'll do. Yeah, Muffin with Tentacle confirming. Cool. He's not going to play that just because he'll have better bingos for sure. Wow, Rasheed's threatening some big bingos here through the O.
Yeah.
Sidewinder points it out.
Yeah. Worth noting that, Squire could certainly be played, and then
that's what I was thinking.
And then that would set up Squire Archies.
Wait, what? I'm sorry. What was that second part?
I think Squire Archies is good, right?
I have never heard or know anything about what you're saying. My God. I have never heard that word. That's amazing that you know that. As we see Dave play Zooey. So, wow, a big Q play and then a big Z play, one after the other for Dave to start this game. So he's up to 93, and Rasheed still languishing with 10, but he's going to do something good here. What is he setting up, though? Is he? Well, he's not going to play.
He was setting up. He was setting up Pavanine before, but that just got blocked. So I don't know. Is there a?
repaving or something through the R of choir. I mean,
Yeah, it seems to be what's there. So
is it
I think
possible that verquire is better than that?
uh
Probably not. It's probably close though, right? Like,
it's
uh,
very close.
it's a 7 point
It's
difference
it's
between those
very
two plays.
very close. It's
Repaving opens just a ton of stuff.
and as per usual, we've noticed a couple times that when I've said something, Koenig has immediately done something that made that possible. We might see him play Scaglia and Squire next turn.
Oh
Keep
yeah.
the Squire Archie's dream alive.
Very true, which I don't know how many players would be thinking of Squire Archies here, but this is gonna. So Dave clearly ready to play Scaglia, a valid 7-letter word. He's counting up repaving for a moment, but as soon as that process is over, as you said, I think he's gonna hit a really high scoring, pretty nice find here.
Yeah. It can't quite be worth playing Scaglia and Quires, right? It destroys the board so wonderfully. It's so tempting. It's so defensive and controlled,
yeah.
and it's so wonderful. And my heart just I could just.
So
Oh,
my
I just
issue with
want it,
that
but
though is even when you play choirs, you still have the big S hook on the other end, right? So it's not, the board is very close to 8s, but it still has that really live S hook that can reopen. And yeah, I mean, ultimately by playing Scaglia on the left side of choir instead of the right, you do get 12 more points. Oh yeah, an Esquire now.
an Esquire, yeah.
Okay, so there's a lot of, this has been a pretty action-packed start to this game for sure.
Yeah. Interestingly, it appears there are, I may have cheated to find this out, no 8s with Bathier, which is what Rasheed has right now. I certainly would have thought about Batchier. It just sounds like a word.
Yeah, it looks like it looks like a great set of letters. Oh, we had challenge cam, but it was too quick. So yeah. So anyway, this is a valid word. It's not, there's not a lot of drama here. It just Rasheed checking Scaglia. He might not be familiar, and Dave gets 5 extra points on top of that to go up to 189 now.
Yeah. So noting that Rasheed did get 5 of the 7 letters for Squire Archies, and why this is funny, I think it was you and I streaming last year where. Was it Jesse Day and Dave Weekend where Arquebus was played, and they actually did have a playable Harquebusiers?
Oh my God, that's right. But wasn't there also a Dave game where he was going to try to play like audiologies or something like that? There was some.
I don't doubt it. I can certainly tell you many crazy things that he's done in the past, but.
Yeah, so you never know what's going to come up. I mean, yesterday we literally saw a Scrabble game. I saw something in a Scrabble game that I've never seen before, and as long as I have been watching and playing the game, which is both players in the game having the exact same 7-tile rack at the same time in the game. So like if we could see something like that, I mean, there have just been so many other crazy situations that come up. You never know when a crazy situation is going to come up in a game of Scrabble, but if you watch enough, you will eventually see some pretty amazing stuff happen on Scrabble boards here. So anyway, Rasheed is trailing in this game by over 100. He has pretty good bingo tiles. I am going to guess that he is not thinking of the Squire Archie's possibility, and instead he's going to be thinking about how can he play this B, probably, and where can he play either his B or his H or both to score a nice amount of points. It's probably a little crazy to play on the left side of Scaglia, opening the triple, right? That spot next to that A, the triple letter score in that deep blue, is a really appealing place to.
Yeah.
Oh, I think Jalopik is talking about Bath down the other side of Scaglia.
Oh, making GA?
Oh, never mind. So either way. Not gonna fit, I guess.
If you're gonna go for the phony 2 play, I would go for maximum points.
Yeah.
Choco notes bright to go for some points. I see the appeal of that. Also makes it very tough to block bingo lane. I like
through
that.
the G of repaving. Yeah, that looks pretty good.
Yeah.
So,
but I mean, you can also just play it. You can play a little shorter, perhaps, but bright's a lot of points.
39 points for Bright through that blank G of repaving. We've seen a couple of times that actually finding your plays through the blank tile is more difficult than you would expect, right? You know that blank tile is a letter. You know it's the letter G, but your brain is kind of looking for the actual letter G to find those plays through there. So I do feel like we've already seen it yesterday, and we've seen in general, from my personal experience, I do feel like sometimes I miss stuff through a blank that I might not miss if it was the actual tile. But I still feel like Rasheed should be able to spot a play like Bright if he wants to go that direction here and play more of his tiles for a higher score. So,
yeah. Chaco notes the boss setting up bot. That was certainly one that I was thinking of being pretty useful to maximize chances of bingoing. Right, Rasheed needs to bingo as soon as possible, and setting up another big hook could be useful. Obviously, Esquire looms large and will likely be hit at some point, but it's also possible that Dave may neutralize the spot himself next turn.
So just to confirm, we're talking about Ba off of the Y of Zooey, just getting that T hook out in space. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. That makes some sense.
Zooey Anderson.
Yes, my cat Zoe, not quite. Although I do like that Collins has a word Zoe form, which I now and this word is like the form of my cat. Hold on, I'll put it in the cat. In the chat, I'll put it. I literally wanted to say I'll put it in the chat, but I accidentally said I'll put it in the cat. So that's where my brain's at.
Put it in the cat.
So yeah, Zoe form, shaped like my cat Zoe.
Yeah.
Any Wanderer 15 subs in the chat that had? Yep, there we go.
There we go. I outed myself as
That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah. You can give me a sub.
Yes, anyone can do that. But yeah, we got some Zoes in the chat there. That's a Zoe form. So, man, Rasheed's taking a while on this. Rasheed is normally a pretty lightning quick player. So I do feel like this turn does have a bunch of different paths forward here.
It is definitely a choose your own adventure here for sure.
Yeah, we were talking about that yesterday, how a lot of Scrabble positions have a pretty uncontroversially best play. Like, for example, on Dave's first play, Choir, right? That scored 48 points using his Q on the double. That was the only word that did that. It was clearly correct. And on Dave's next turn, Zooey was also pretty clearly correct, hitting the Z and Y on the triple letter scores. But on this one, that is not correct. I don't think that's. I don't like this play, frankly.
No.
So this play scores way too few points for not nearly a good enough leave. That just can't be correct. There were ways that Rasheed could have scored 39 points on this turn. Instead, he scores 14 for a leave that's really not that strong. He drew well to it, and he's gonna bingo, but he probably would have bingoed a lot of the time anyway after a move that would have scored 20 or more points more than that. So anyway,
hopefully he finds re-attain here, the double, which is just great for keeping the board wide open, keeping that G open at the bottom, kind of exactly what he's kind of looking for here.
Yeah, and just to define this in the chat, I think this is a fish.
Yeah, I just did. Yeah, I was like, I don't know if that's good anymore.
It is. Yeah, it's a fish. We're not doing anything against anyone's sensibilities here. Re-attain is the play here for Rasheed. So all's well that ends well after his previous play, which again, he's still going to bingo a lot of the time after a ton of his candidate moves. I just think he probably could have come away with something closer to 120 points on the bargain or maybe 110 points or something instead of whatever that 2-turn sequence was, 96 or something. So,
A nice spot from Dave here. Unfortunately, does not look like this obscure word is going to play.
Oh,
So
wow.
it makes 1-8, which is probably a word people could come up with if you want to try to come up with that in the chat. But the letter that he needs is not currently open.
I don't see it yet. Hold on. Let's see if I can find this. Why am I not?
I don't know. It does not involve changing many letters. It's fine. Would have found.
I'm still looking. Let's see if I can find it before. Oh, there we go. I've spoiled for me. Yeah, I didn't see that.
The big likes to be a spoiler, I would say, spoiled it for you.
Yeah, that's fine. Good find by Jello Mochas there. I think I would probably find it if I had a T to look at, but
yeah.
So anyway, Dave's still up. He's got nice tiles. And the board is, I don't know, it's kind of an in between. I wouldn't say that this board is incredibly open, but it certainly feels closer to open than closed. Maybe that'll change.
Certainly not closed, but it's going to be pretty hard to really close this board down completely. So I think if you're Dave, you really just want to keep the pedal to the metal and just keep scoring.
Yeah, you've got some stuff open on the bottom of the board with repaving. The nice thing also there is that a lot of the plays that you might see through the G are going to create another lane on the bottom of the board, depending on how far through the G you can form a word. You've got the reattains hook. The C of Kui is going to be open for a while unless Dave plays an F with FY. So there are definitely plenty of options to score and play some nice stuff on this board. Still a blank and 3 S's to come as well. So there have been a lot of fireworks so far in this game, with Dave playing his Q and Z for big scores and a nice bingo of Scaglia, and Rasheed playing 2 bingos of his own.
Yeah, honestly, nothing really jumps out to me here. I think this is actually probably one of the toughest positions anyone has had yet this tournament, where Dave is right now.
Yeah,
unless there's something really, really obvious that I'm not seeing, but.
No, I don't think there's anything obvious here. You can sort of tell by his pace of deliberation that he knows that this is not going to be an obvious play. Okay, it looks like he's going to play Parged. This is a reasonable pathway to take here. So he keeps his F for a Phi play if he wants to, or for the spot above the A of reattain. He blocks the triple. It seems okay.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that you're really considering here, right? Are you trying to go for the bingo fast, or are you trying to score points? And as Sidewinder notes, the other main play that I was considering was ref through I assume the E and Zooey saving Drape, which is a fantastic leave, and you're going to score pretty well. So I think that's the thing to keep in mind, is you're going to keep scoring well. But here, just the same, Dave's much less likely to bingo next turn. But he's still got that F he can use and probably just score some good points. And it does look like he will have have some good opportunities next turn.
Yeah, wow. Choco PB identifies Iconify through the C of Kui from this rack of Rasheed's. He's got 2 I's, a Y, probably one too many vowels, duplicates. Iconify would be a wonderful play here.
Well, he had Ionify spelled out. Yeah, he's bringing it back here, so I think he sees it.
Very nice.
Yeah. So I think the Rasheed was the one who actually found
good play. This is a great play by Rasheed. This has to be the best play here.
Yeah, I think that makes up for Ba, because that's a great. I don't even think I would have found that, honestly.
Yeah. Very, very nicely spotted by Rasheed. An obscure 7-letter word, Iconify, that gets him completely out of that messy rack that he just had there. Yeah. That really does a lot to hasten him towards a better future. He's still going to need something good, but with an E to work with, he could easily draw something like S blank and be right back in the game. So we'll see what he picks here. It's a very important draw for Rasheed.
Yeah, it does close the board a bit. It uses up a lot of real estate. It is true. It is potentially reopenable to the top right, but it's just It seems to be
Well,
so much better than anything else. And ooh,
but
my.
as I said, what if he draws something like that? And
That's
sure enough,
what he needed to draw right about here, because I think Dave will continue to keep scoring well.
but the scary thing is, if Dave plays what I feel like he very well might here, if he plays Faw, if he's tempted to play Faw on top of the Y of Iconify instead of parallel to Dewey, he's gonna get hit with Townlets for 1,000,000 points. So
Yeah.
this is very so like normally I would consider taking those points, but at this score, Dave doesn't need to do that, right? Like he's up by 60. He can take a 2-point sacrifice to play something a little more careful. But if he's tempted by those extra points, he is going to pay the price. I think Rasheed will find Townlets here.
And I mean, and here's the thing, right? Is like, if you think about overall average score, Thaw over on the left isn't, it's actually probably gonna give way to maybe even a higher average score, because it's just there's so many snapbacks that happen there immediately. Whereas most of the time, if you're playing through that W, it's like, oh, it's a 30-point play, right? So it's not really helping too much.
Oh my God.
So yeah,
no.
so here's the thing is to give some insight into probably how I think Dave's mind works, and how mine would work here, being a math guy essentially. All in all, this is actually a reasonably safe play given his other options, but it's kind of one of those like high, we would call it a high standard deviation or high variance, where like when you get hit, you're going to get hit really bad. You're just not going to get hit very often, and the upside to Dave is just so high here. But
yeah. So you okay? A couple.
But
things
all my
totally.
explaining goes out the window in the sense of, well, this is one of those times.
Yeah, a couple things though in the chat. First, people are pointing out there's more than just Townlets. It's toe lines, Townlets, Townless. There's actually 3, and you can see now Rasheed's already set up Townless on the rack. He's probably just thinking to himself, am I going to hit this massive play? And wow, this is just amazing swing here. Dave is up 95, but we are about to see Rasheed hit an absolute hammer through this W, a triple. Amazing. And I also have to call out a couple of comments of like, I want to borrow Will's crystal ball. Will, can we ponder your orb, please? First of all, my
I would
channel
love to ponder
points,
your orb, Will.
I know, I understand the phrasing of that, but also the channel points on my own Twitch channel are called orbs out of an inside joke. Somebody was complaining once about not having enough orbs to buy Cat Cam. And I thought that was really funny, so I renamed my channel points orbs on my channel.
Excellent.
But anyway,
Excellent.
So we're gonna see Rasheed here. He's already spelled it out. There are a number of other things that he can find. We're gonna see him scoring 149 points on this play and taking the lead. But Dave still has good tiles, actually.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, Dave first looked at an S. It looked like he had smear, picked up GH, which I think isn't going to help too much this turn. But after he plays, say, on his next turn, he's really only going to be down by a few points, and then have, let's say rages or something for his next turn. So really, this is just going to make the game close. Whereas oftentimes if you triple, it usually puts the game out of reach, right?
Yeah, totally. And just to clarify something in the chat, RTRB asked, whoa, what were the other largest ones? When S. Jackson said 5th, he just meant 5th position of the letter F. There haven't been 5 plays heavier scoring than this. This is definitely the highest scoring play, I believe, that we've seen on the stream. Okay, toe lines.
Dave's eyes get serious sitting in the confident position.
Yeah, so toe lines is the play here. And yeah, tile pool coming momentarily after this. Let me just get all the scores and stuff updated. So Rasheed going from down 90 to up over 50 points here. So Dave, that is certainly a reversal of fortune. And let's just see now what Dave's looking at from the pool. Stand by, should be up in a minute. So Dave has most of the good tiles left. You can see there are 31 tiles unseen. Dave's got most of the good ones. So this game is far from over. That was a huge, huge blow for Rasheed to get back into the game, but Dave's winning chances are still quite good here.
Yeah, I mean, Rasheed still needs to draw something good to keep scoring. And the 7th tile he drew was a vowel, so that almost
Saved him.
was almost heading
him.
towards pain. But not that this is a great rack by any means, but he should at least be able to score some points and keep it going.
Yeah, Dave's got really good enough tiles. The nice thing about toe lines is he's now got a T to play with in that upper corner. Maybe you can end something in EST. He's also got a lane alongside toe lines to play 7-letter words. So even though, I mean, Rasheed's going to have to play his 149-point bingo every time, pretty much all the bingos that he could have played, maybe Townless is the I don't know. It's really splitting hairs between all of those plays. So, yeah, we'll just see. Dave can play HM on top of reattain. He can play He can play ham. Okay, he's playing ham. The reason he's doing that is to set up another spot for his S for sham. I'm not sure I like this, though, because it really gets hammered by reparallels that you don't need to expose here.
Oh, wow. That is, not what I expected. But he hasn't hit his clock yet, so that's fair. I mean, he's going to consider it.
So just playing through the A on top of the A and I of reattain, that does block some of the board off for yourself. So you're not thrilled to make a play like that, but I think it's much safer in terms of it scores more points. It keeps both of your 2 vowels.
Yeah.
And there are enough opportunities on the board in other spots that Rasheed is going to be hard pressed to close them all. And in fact, he really can't do much to close anything with this rack. Like, it's going to be hard for him to make a really productive defensive play with these tiles. So he's going to hammer this reparallel here if this is what Dave plays. Would also kind of be nice to see him try to get rid of the G, just because the G, we all know, well, not all of us know, but I think the G is a tile that even when you have it alongside the I and the N, is a very okay. All right, he's come to his senses. I much prefer this.
Yeah, he's maybe he's just trying to troll you and me, Will, but I suspect he's gonna play this. I assume.
Suggestion of just next to Scaglia. That's maybe a little safer. It does have some scary overlapping potential just because HI hooks with so much, and AMA and OMA and even SMA are all possible here as overlap reparallels there. I guess it is 5 fewer points as well. It's definitely worth consideration playing those same 2 letters alongside the I and A of Scaglia, but I think I'm okay from Dave's perspective with playing this. And actually, we're going to see a pretty good closing play for Rasheed, a bat. This looks nice, Conrad.
I mean, it's almost as if he's looking at Dave's tiles, right?
Yeah, I mean, it does perform very, very well against those tiles specifically. But don't you feel like a play in that spot does really well to close both the 7s line off of toe lines and the I of repaving? I feel like those are...
Yeah, and the S hook on reattains. I think it's a nice way to kind of what we would say, like, reduce the volatility overall on the board. It certainly makes sense. That, of course, taking some hooks, so it does give some stuff back. But given that Rasheed still has the lead and Dave after is probably going for a bingo, you feel a little safer about it.
Yeah, just going to get the tracking updated so we can continue to look at what Dave is
Dragster
seeing.
does fit. It does fit.
Wow.
Dragster fits. And just like you and me, it looks like Dave is going to miss the spot.
Oh, no.
I'm pretty sure I would have found it over a board because I saw a Dragster and then it didn't fit. I'd like to, again, so Dave has done this multiple times. He's put a play down really quickly, thought about it, and then picked it up.
Okay, so again, just for anyone that's confused here, Dave can actually play a bingo through the first tee of bat, hooking his S onto Riatane's, and it looks like it's going to escape his notice here. He just played grade and then picked up his E, but he's not picking up any more of his tiles to reconsider this play, and that's going to be a huge miss for Dave. Oh, man. He could get 85 points on the bingo here, seizing control of the game and leaving Rasheed with a terrible board and 6 consonants and only 1 vowel. So this is a big, big swing.
Yeah. I wonder if he's seen Dragster, period. I would assume so, because like most of the tiles to play through are T.
Yeah, you just have to notice
I don't
that
know.
it still fits. Oh, I do miss plays like this.
Yeah.
More than I wish I would, where I just, as Jalopnik says, similar miss to Alamroot. It definitely is. I'm very confident that Dave would see Dragster if the T was completely open in space.
Yeah.
But that's a big one right there. He
has hit his clock. Not dead yet. He's still saving ERS. There are still places to play. He's opened up a new lane, plenty of vowels to draw.
Look at that draw. U for Dave.
Too many of those vowels. Yeah.
Brutal. That is a brutal, brutal draw for Dave. Rasheed can continue to close things down as he sees fit. Looks like he's going to play Dink. Not sure why not Mink. But that's okay.
I think he's saving the M for Jam, most likely.
Okay, that makes sense.
He's using the K here. That's my best guess.
It's going to be hard to hit that M, though, but that's okay. Overlapping that spot is not super easy. I guess he could just draw an E and have a pretty good scoring play there, though.
Yeah, I mean, Rasheed has made it clear that he's trying to just to outscore Dave and just write it out. He seems to have just enough vowels to do that every turn.
Yeah, he's had 1 vowel on most of his last few turns. Let me update the tracking so you can see what Dave's looking at. I fully expect an exchange out of Dave here. I'm not sure. Well, maybe he can play short.
OU has got to be getting pretty powerful soon, right? If there's I guess there is still another U unseen to him. So
is it worth playing OU on top of the O and N of Iconify just to make another lane for yourself? I mean, it's kind of decent to hit that. I don't know.
The only thing is that the RS doesn't quite fit.
It doesn't fit. Yeah, it doesn't fit there. So where to play this?
Batu maybe OU and Batu, because that way you kind of leave the board completely alone. You save that T up at the top, you save the G up at the top, and then you save really what's powerful for Dave. Having those vowels.
Good point.
Is that bottom lane? So maybe you just go ahead and take OU right now. I don't know.
Yeah, so Conrad is noting that the bat play that Rasheed made moments ago, B-A-T-T, that actually takes a U hook and playing OU there. Yeah, I like what you and Sidewinder are both saying makes a lot of sense to me. Just try to keep that lower level 7s lane alive and hope that you hit a 7 that plays down there, or maybe you get lucky and hit the T of toe lines in the upper right corner.
Because
also the G of grad technically is a threat. So there are, the threats are not amazingly good for Dave, but his time. All right, well, he does opt for the play that I suggested, which I don't like as much now that we've considered it.
I think he's gonna stare at it for a couple minutes.
He's about to play. There he goes.
Oh, nope, there it goes. Wow, I'm surprised.
So that was my first instinct, but as we noted, when we look at that spot, it's not that as good of a line as it looks at first. So
I mean, like now Rasheed could play Mung, setting up his X.
Wow,
it's so safe. Mung is sick.
That would be amazing if he plays this.
There it is. Let's see it, Rasheed.
I mean, he has a good X play staring him in the face with X-Ool under Zooey, right? So he has a good X play there. But Mung would be a hilarious play.
So I don't think X-Ool's necessarily that good of a play, though, right? Because you want to play some defense here.
Sure. Mux is better. Mux is better.
Fun. Yeah.
Mux is a better play. Yeah.
But I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Mung is a better play.
I mean, it's certainly a fun play. Yeah, it's a fun play for
And
sure.
maybe it's because there are very few vowels unseen to him, but no, think about it. It blocks all the things. It sets up his X in a, nearly unblockable way,
Devastating
right?
way. Yeah, pretty
I mean,
devastating way.
it outruns every bingo. So actually, honestly, I think Mung is a really good player. Oh no.
Wow.
All right,
And
well
large. Okay, so
that
now
was the draw of
Rasheed.
the tournament thus far.
Yeah, now Rasheed to his leave of I don't even know what he just had, but it wasn't very good. It was like L. It was like oh, it was all the consonants,
It was all
right?
the constant. He literally just drew the vowels out of the
He
bag.
just drew AEE for enlarge. So well done to Rasheed. If Dave, I mean, Dave now has a very similar situation to last turn where he doesn't have a bingo and he has to try to fish again in a way that also gives himself some chance of actually hitting something. And Rasheed is going to play enlarge and finish this game off. So
Yeah,
um,
he will enlarge his lead to a point where
he surely will. Yeah.
yeah.
Where it generally, if we can be gleaners of it, we will know that he's too much.
So if you're Dave, do you still fish here one more time? I mean, like at this point, I think he can feel pretty confident that he's not going to win anymore, just because he's no bingo is going to score enough. So is he trying to still get maximize bingo chances and just make it a close game, or?
I think I would still go for the win. I feel like I have seen Rasheed make a word mistake in situations like this before. I would just want to make Rasheed continue to play valid words, even though the chance of him playing something invalid is microscopic. I would still probably try to win this as opposed to pack it in and just play for spread. Also, we need to note, Conrad, Dave has a tie.
Oh, that's true. He does have a tie, so he can. Unless I've been in multiple tournaments where I've had a tie and then got a second.
And
tie.
Someone else got a tie, yeah, or got a second tie. Yeah, that's true.
I've gotten second tie even at a nationals. It sucked.
Yeah. So basically, the reason that we're remarking that Dave Koenig having a tie is important is that by definition, he can't be on the same win level as anyone else that doesn't have a tie. So he no longer needs to worry about spread as a tiebreaker. He is almost certain. Well, I mean, as you said, he might have to in some very, very unlikely chance. But I don't think I've tied more than, I don't know, between 5 and 10 games in like 1,500 games that I've played in tournaments or something like that. So basically, the odds of another tie coming along are just pretty low. Dave can be pretty content here with going for the win at all costs in most of his games. And if someone else gets a tie, he just has to say, "Wow, that was unlucky for me that I played this way that sacrificed a lot of point spread."
Yeah. So one thing I was gonna note before is when I was saying, go just try to play for spread, tie aside. Really, what I meant was, I think his best way to play for spread is to be super, super, super open, to try to go for a bingo, like guarantee a bingo. In which case, I wonder what the best way to do that is. I like the play that he made. I think, still tiles in the bag, actually scoring points to keep himself in scoring range, which is what he really needs to accomplish here. So I definitely appreciate this play. Obviously, it would take a miracle even without Rasheed having, what he does.
Yeah, this play makes a lot of sense. Giotto. I like that choice by Dave. It does make a great deal of sense. Keep your score to the point where if you do hit your bingo, it actually matters. But of course, Rasheed, as you said, he's going to enlarge his lead momentarily here. And that's going to be it for Dave in this game. So a pretty wild game, I have to say.
This was a fun game to commentate on for sure. I mean, both of them played quite solidly. Only a couple plays that we
were... So going back to Fa, right? Fa was really the inflection point, and I feel like
I think it was the right play.
I honestly agree. Like in these situations, like Fa, you get hit with these disaster triples very rarely. And if he played Fa for 32 points opposite the board, parallel to Dewey, you get hit with overlaps with that J, re-parallels of that just hammer you, and they're so much more frequent than the triple. So I do believe that I have in my mind, I can imagine that there are a lot of players who are saying, are you crazy? Like opening the triple, how could you possibly do that? But like there were many 50 and 60 point overlapping plays after after the other Fa that Dave would have regretted terribly. But Dragster.
Dragster was that was the killer. Rasheed did not, get punished for Ba, which was definitely not what we would have wanted to see there, but made up for it with Iconify.
Yeah, for sure. A really interesting game. Very nice plays on both sides. The mistakes that were made were typically really high level ones that were fun for us to cut our teeth into. More of this is more of this.
Yeah, it's fun one to discuss for sure.
Yep.
And unsurprisingly, view count over 100. That's excellent. Please tell all your friends. Twitch.tv/Scrabble. No Squire Archies. Still
maybe
almost,
next game, Todas.
Hey, Colin, or dang it, I did that again. Clabbers, Squire Archies. Oh no, the Esquires are not. So Squire Archies would not quite fit anymore. Yeah,
the dream will have to live to another game for that word to hit the board. And perhaps we'll go a long time before we see that word be played in Scrabble. But yeah, very interesting game. A lot of you guys agreeing that this had some drama, had some interesting moments to it for sure. And totally concurring with everyone's thoughts there. Yeah, and potentially Dave Koenig will have to shake it off. His reward for coming up short against Rasheed in this game is very likely to be we're going to get to watch him face off against none other than Dr. Bing, the other Dave Wiegand. Although I guess in deference to Dave Wiegand, maybe Dave Koenig is the other Dave. No offense. Yeah. But this was a great game to cut our teeth into for sure. Jalapik says Dr. Bing just lost by 286 points to Chris Lipe. Oh my God. That's amazing. It seems like just a rough. It feels like Dave Wiegand has had some rough goes of it. I guess you would know better than anyone, Conrad, because he can tell you himself how those draws have been.
He was just sort of just like, well, not great.
Yeah, he's never gonna moan or emote that much.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think honestly he was probably more pissed off about Alan Brute, if anything.
And as we were saying yesterday, that really is the best attitude you can have. Don't worry if you get outdrawn. Don't worry if the tile bag is just brutal over a few games stretch. Just worry about what you can control, and you will end up doing very, very well for yourself in Scrabble. All right, we see Rasheed go out. Final score, Rasheed Balogun, 536, Dave Koenig, 414. Crazy to think that a pretty solid distance into this game, the score was Dave Koenig, 228, Rasheed Balogun, 88. And 140-point lead for Dave Koenig after 4 turns. Yeah, you look where Dave's pointing on the board. You can tell he's saying, I thought about playing Fa over there, but I played it where I did because of the overlaps, and Rasheed had the goods.